Now, unless Sasha or Bishop have something specific they want to do during the car ride, I say we move on to base camp, as it were.
Sounds good.
Okay, I was going to say this is me asking if there's anything that wants to be done during the car ride.
No. Not that I can think of, no.
You pull up. This location seems relatively secure. At least, you assume that most of the people on site are probably part of this alphabet soup of an organization. Let me just pull up my map. Ooh, did it? Yeah, it gave me Charleston, South Carolina. I was like, this does not feel right.
That's the wrong one.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't look right. Where are we? Google Maps is playing games with me. I apologize. There we are. So essentially what this place is it is a museum. Right next to the state capitol, the state capitol complex, etc. It's known as the West Virginia State Museum, but it seems to have been converted into a staging area at this time. As Kristoph parks the SUV, he goes, well, we're here. Looks like your friend made it too, despite the backfiring of the soup kitchen van.
Oh yeah. So it's not in the best shape, Kristoph, but it served a lot of souls, so respect. Please.
So, here we are, and he kind of makes a gesture at the building. Our staging area, as it were. He shrugs as he moves to the back of the SUV, throws it open, pulls out the igloo cooler, and goes, what are you hoping to find here, though? I suppose I should ask.
We want to find out what are you planning to do with these. Number one, I suspect the church wouldn't want these demons to be stored or become a temptation for other mortals. I want to make sure they're handled properly and they are disposed of, and perhaps if we can help you and your kind, maybe you can help us and our kind.
Now, the church really doesn't have any jurisdiction here, Father.
Well put. Maybe expertise is the right word. Jurisdiction, I think that's not what this is about. Well, we got 2,000 years of dealing with these things, if you know what I mean.
We will deal with them how we see fit. What about you, Sasha?
How did you know to look for one of these? Obviously, you figured out who was the one with this spirit thing because of their reaction to your suitcase of surprises. But why are you even here looking for one?
Wasn't necessarily looking for one. was prepared in case of one is probably a better word. As stated, we obtained some information, and he's talking as he's walking. You're getting some sideways glances as you go through, but nobody has, like, stopped you at this moment. It seems like the fact that you're talking to this individual is giving you enough leeway that they're like, it's fine, I guess. It was stated, information given to us by one of their own kind. When you've worked in this business, I'm sure you understand that you start taking folklore and crazy stories from the weird hermit guy up the mountains as maybe having a little bit more salt than the regular person does. And
true.
one thing we don't ever want is to be caught with our pants down.
So does that
So
mean
that's-
that this is just the end of it? Your involvement?
Oh no, our involvement. And at this point, he's kind of pushed into... You guys have been moving throughout the museum. And it's at this point that he pushes into one of the... It says employees only, but he holds the door open with his hip as the two of you follow him through. And it's at this point that you see more behind the curtain as it is. These rooms are being retrofitted with a bunch of computer tech. You see servers being hauled in. It's still very much a build up to whatever their final goal happens to be here. And he goes, oh no, our involvement isn't by no means through. I mean, the next thing we gotta figure out is how to kill these things. Then following that, we've still got to wipe out all the other underlings in the city.
Did you just say kill these things for a demon? My son, they don't die. That's part of the way you deal with. We abjure and remove them. Then they rot in hell. They don't die. I think you may be thinking of this in human terms, if you don't mind me saying that. They are not like us. They don't die.
I mean, in all fairness, the vampires die, but they still move around. Maybe, die is too literal of a word, or kill is too literal of a word to really think about here. As long as whatever it is, there are ways where you could say a vampire is already dead, but they still move until you kill them some more. So with these things, with these spirits, if we can just get them to a point where they can't threaten people, that's death enough for them. Whether they're in hell or not.
Yeah, I wouldn't go against that. But
I just
permanently
don't want...
killing it just is not.
Vampires can't be killed, by the way. It's not easy, but you just put enough bullets into them and they'll stop moving permanently and turn to dust and ash most of the time.
Do you believe these things, these demons, can also be killed? That goes against the teachings of the church. I am... Maybe we are not diagnosing this correctly, but what church says is they go back.
I
Judah.
I really don't put much stock in the church, as it were.
I'm bristling a little bit.
Listen, my belief, which is my own, I suppose. If something moves, it can be made to stop moving. Now, with inanimate objects, that involves duct tape. When it involves people, well, there's certainly more than one way. And when it comes to these type of things, sometimes you gotta get a little creative, but you can still put them down.
I get a feeling that you and Edward probably would get along very well. I've been hearing that type of thinking quite a lot in our base also, so...
At this point, an individual taps him on the shoulder and whispers a few words to him. I'm so sorry. I am actually gonna have to leave you here. I have to put this away, as it were. I suppose the doctor here will take it from me, as it were. And he kind of shuffles away as this individual turns to you. So normally we don't have outsiders in here, so you'll have to forgive me. How should I address the two of you?
You can call me Bishop, and...
Bishop, your title, or who you are?
You can call me Father Bishop, or Bishop is the name, but I'm not a bishop in the hierarchy. I'm an exorcist for the church. We don't operate linked to a location. Bishops and cardinals are for locations. I'm more of a... I go where needed.
My name's Sasha. I guess I'm just a friend of the church.
This individual is wearing a lab coat. Though, doesn't look very professional. He has unkempt black hair, brown eyes, tan skin. Looks like he's attempting to grow a beard, but it's somewhat patchy. And he goes, well, I suppose it's a pleasure to meet you. Kristoph was telling me you were wanting to see the operation and the like. Is there anything particular you want to see? I mean, obviously there's going to be some stuff that's a little bit below deck. But
I would say the very first thing is these things that's brought in. Do you store them somewhere? Do you kill them? They were talking about killing, and how do we refer you? Doctor?
Well, they call me Marshal Brown. That's my name. I'm part of Task Force Valkyrie. I'm specifically in the medical wing, but I do also hold some rank within Task Force Valkyrie, which makes people have to answer to me whether they like to or not. That's just the way things are. As for what we do, and then he gestures, and he takes you to the part of the museum where they bring things from other parts of the world to examine them. So they're essentially like, I keep wanting to say investigation rooms, but that's not quite right. It's where they bring artifacts so that they're in a controlled environment while they, you know, do what they need to do to get them prepared to go out onto exhibit. Except for these have been converted into what are essentially cells. You see some relatively normal looking people. You see a menagerie, as it were, of people within these cells. We bring individuals of interest to these locations, and we see what makes them tick. You notice one of them has... The glass has been replaced with several steel, and even the steel is somewhat dented. That one's problematic. We broke through the glass within about 2 minutes. We had to resort to some alternative means, and then that steel's actually probably about 20 inches thick, and it still has bent it. It's just not right.
No, not that right at all. So, Doctor, maybe we take it just a slight step back. We are hunters. I'm getting the feeling that you are also hunters dealing with the supernatural protecting people, no?
I feel like that was already kind of a given, was it not?
I mean, it's a federal organization, and we got to learn a little bit, just making sure. So you deal with not just these things, but others also. So it's not you're not like specializing on a particular type of threat I'm seeing here.
No, we don't specialize in a specific type of threat. We just handle whatever we need to.
Am I hearing any ephemeral voice or anything? Remember, medium means I'm...
Nope. Nothing... Ephemeral voice. No.
Nothing of the sort.
I had to make a mental check of if there were any Geist in here. No, there's no Sin Eaters in here.
Okay. This is good. We just how can we did you find a way to dispose of these things permanently? Would you mind if me and my colleague perhaps try an abjuration to exorcise this thing for good? One of them.
Listen, very rarely does that actually work unless you're actually talking about ghosties and ghoulies, but we're not talking about ghosties and ghoulies here now, are we? We're talking about bloodsuckers, at least in this city. And he points again at the one that has the window replaced by a very large hunk of steel and a werewolf, but that werewolf is tangential. It had nothing to do with anything. It just happened upon it, and well, now we got a werewolf in there. Shrugs.
I meant those smoke things, you know, the one that came out of the vampire. They can be abjured, no?
That's the first one we've ever encountered. We heard stories of it, and it's at this point that you actually see him roll up a sleeve and pull a vial out. And he injects himself with this kind of reddish liquid and puts it back into his coat. Sorry, that's actually really obnoxious, having to do that.
Do you have some condition?
In a manner of speaking, condition caused by the usage of it that requires me to continue to use it.
Does it look like he took a drug or something like
Yes.
before? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
My son, the only thing you need in life is here, pulling the good book. It's right here. No need for that. And there's a pamphlet inside. I'm right now not the answer. Church address there. It's okay. It's all right. I'm putting in his pocket.
Uh,
When you get a chance, I understand when you start using, you feel like you need to keep using. That's how it feels, but so many youth, it's ending lives like that. Not necessary, doctor.
that not quite what's going on here. No.
I nod knowingly, of course not. Never is.
Let's just say I have certain augmentations that have been done to me to make me a more effective, well, I guess you would just say hunter. And my body will start to reject them if I don't take this.
I'm just gonna come very close to his ear. Don't worry, I'm not a cop.
Even if you were a cop, that doesn't mean too much to me. I have jurisdiction over local police, technically.
But that doesn't mean you should still use drugs.
He gives a look over to Sasha as if to call off Bishop. Like, can you do something about him?
Bishop looking back at Sasha. I'm doing my best.
I know you are, and I appreciate that. She's gonna look to the doctor. Everything that is worth doing comes with a price. And I know that Bishop can be a bit strong in his beliefs and come off a little, dare I say it, preachy. But I can say that, we're all doing what we have to in order to survive. And it's good that you have figured out what helps you to help people. Not all of us are in such a place.
I'm gonna put an arm on Sasha for a speech. Very well done.
Anyway, so basically, that's what we're doing here, is we're attempting to find ways to take out the supernatural threats that plague our world. Sometimes we do that with overwhelming force, sometimes we do that with... And then he pauses for a second and he goes, okay, honestly, for us it's mostly overwhelming force.
I was getting that feeling too. I'm glad, you told it out there.
People get injured sometimes, but most of the time we do the injuring. And... he gets a little bit of that look of where he's like, I don't know where to go with this conversation anymore.
I'm just going to interject with this. What we know is there were some of these chaos events which, based on what you told us, may have to do with these bloodsuckers in other cities now putting together how we started this, our own hunt, so to speak.
Yeah, so you're the reason why the church is getting itself butchered.
I wouldn't say I'm the reason. I whisper, and the all-seeing church makes the decision. I just made a phone call describing. I hope they're not getting butchered, and I hope you and I maybe come to some collaborative agreement, as you seem to have some advantage over us in terms of some of the technology resources and perhaps weaponry as well.
I do want to ask, would Bishop or Sasha have sent the address to the other three?
I definitely.
Yeah.
I am. While pulling it, I sent it from Sasha also that, yeah. In our WhatsApp chat or common chat,
Well,
park behind the soup kitchen van. It's there in the park.
Brown's pager goes off and he goes, "It seems like you have some friends at the front gate. Were you expecting anybody? They're asking for you by name."
Yeah, 3 of them should be. I'm giving basic description, and they are part of us, and we should also have this conversation in terms of what it is. I think it will be very beneficial. They are part of our group.
Well, then let's make our way back to the entrance to get them. And he puts the pager back on his belt and guides you back to the front part of the museum.
So, how can we identify these things?
Which things?
I mean, the spirit and the vampire that got captured.
I was like, walking and talking. Well, as I kind of said, that was the first time this is the first time that we've ever had a agent come back reporting that they actually got one.
But we seem to be looking for it. I mean, there was a cooler or what? So you were looking for that, no? Or am I mistaken in that?
As you reach the entrance, that would be a mistake. We're not specifically looking for them. We are prepared if we find them. Once again, we try to make sure of all, we cover all of our bases. Are these your? Yeah, these look like the descriptions you gave me. And he kind of waves at the three, at Frederick, Robbie, and Edward.
We have arrived. So, what story? What's happening here?
This is the forward base where we capture supernatural individuals and subject them to tests to find out how to better shoot them in the head.
I like you already.
This is the cavalry that we should have called in, if only we knew how.
It's a fact. I have to say, we weren't prepared for the non-ephemeral side of it. We should have. I'm introducing the doctor to rest of medical doctor Markham, and that's our team members.
You look
Howdy.
a little. He kind of gestures towards Frederick. You look a little concerned.
I look a little sober. Well, I'm tagging along because I don't have a ride elsewhere. I have no interest in dealing with the feds right now. Our goals only briefly align.
Is there a coffee anywhere around, just so Freddy's mood improves? I'm looking for slightly coffee.
That's when his pager goes off again and he looks at it. Yeah, we got some coffee. Puts the pager back as if he never touched it. So you are the reason the church is here. So we kind of run in similar circles then. He's again leading you towards the back to the more office type areas. Takes you to what looks like a break room and starts handing out what is honestly probably pushing day-old coffee at this point.
The old instant coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, with the powdered cream, all the best. Ready? I'm preparing mine for Freddy. I have a little brand over there, Freddy. Or no, one, two fingers, no finger.
I'm here out of respect for the lot of you, but I'm still
Freddy.
convinced we have bigger work to do than.
What work do
Being
you
right
think
here.
you got? And he kind of pushes himself up onto the counter next to the sink. This is your very typical break room. And he looks kind of directly at Frederick.
I still have a case I want to look into. Missing peoples, locals. Was
What?
chatting with a man about it. This is far beyond the government's problem. Local government already pissed it away and did nothing about it, so.
Tell you what. Probably a good idea for you to go ahead and look into that. It'll keep you out of our hair.
So we don't want to sound rude or anything. That's not the case, but you folks will come and go from here. This is our home. And we feel the collateral damage is unacceptable in this battle. We want to end this as safely and quickly for our folks as possible. We have...
Well, you kind of already screwed the pooch on that one, haven't you?
What do you mean by that?
You brought the church in here for something that they weren't prepared for, and that's causing people to get killed.
That's where we are now asking for help to fix it. So, how do
Fix it by getting the church the hell out of here and letting us do our damn job.
we can make a call to back off some of our associates, but as you've said, this is the first time you came across this shadow spirit. Me and my associates here have quite a bit of experience with that.
Ooh, are you trying to bluff your way through this, Father? I have to ask. I'm like, is this?
No, not at all. I'm pulling the good book. Opening the page about Jesus, removing the soul from. I'm reading it line by line. They removed it and it went into the pig and went into it. You see this? That was 2,000 years ago, my son. It's not yesterday. We have been doing this for a while, so we know some things you don't. There is value in collaboration.
See here, I thought you were saying that your group here could help. Sorry, I was mistaken. Listen, just get the church out of here. Once the church stops interfering, things will go a lot smoother. The only reason I'm here, the only reason I'm talking with you is because let's just say I get the short end of the stick. I have rank because I'm part of the Delta Protocol. That gives me a bit of leeway, but that also means that I'm nothing more than a glorified lapdog. Which means I get stuck with things like this. I get told, hey, you have jurisdiction over this because you have technically XYZ rank. And then they have me talking to, well, the 5 of you because they feel like the division feels like I have a high enough rank. I'm important enough to make you feel special. I give you guys some coffee. And I just tell you to get the hell out of Dodge. He shrugs and drinks the day-old instant coffee, and you can tell on his face he's not happy about it.
Is it possible that I conclude he's overdosing on drugs or something? Because that conversation made so little sense. I'm looking at him.
He is not overdosing on drugs.
Okay, I can conclude that. All right. Okay.
He seems
Why-
level-headed, if obviously not enjoying the day-old coffee, and probably, I would say even without an empathy check, annoyed at the task he's been given. Feels like it is beneath him and that he could be doing other things, but that's what he's been ordered to do.
I want to do something, but I want to give everybody a chance to basically do something else as well, because this may take in a different direction.
Well, I mean, I'll just let it be known. Frederick is essentially just waiting for people to be done here. Like, he doesn't think the feds are going to help us.
Are you drinking the Irish coffee that I prepared lovingly for you?
The only thing Frederick is drinking tonight is going to be like straight whiskey. I'm going to be honest with you. He's saving his stomach capacity for something that's going to make him forget that he had to deal with the CIA tonight.
Okay.
Edward, Robbie?
Can't think of anything off the top of my head that Robert feels the need to do here.
I think we're no longer wanted.
Yeah.
I want to do something that may change, but if nobody else is doing it, I'm gonna try something. Storyteller.
To put it harshly, yeah, unfortunately, your role here is ended. You are kids playing in a very, very large pond. Time to back off and let the big boys take care of what needs to be done.
At that point, I'd like to use psychometry to read the place, give this guy that we can do some things that they may not also. So this is the time to do some things a little differently. Sure, they got weapons, they got these, but are we defenses? Maybe not.
So,
You brought us to your house. Now you wouldn't be sad that we now know your secrets. That's the play here.
is any of this being said aloud just out of curiosity?
No, I'm just describing my intention to you. I'm
Okay.
not saying that.
Then go ahead and give me a roll. This is an extended action, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It's an instant action.
Okay.
It's a psychometry. I'm touching and I'm basically getting the reading out of it.
What are you touching?
It's the location. It
okay.
needs to be a location or an object. I'm reading the bringing us to the headquarters was what he did.
Okay,
I'm gonna
give me
do
that
it.
roll.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Four questions.
Yeah. What's the biggest secret they are keeping? You asked for that, so I'm gonna get that.
Give me
That coffee wasn't coffee.
I think he's gonna choke on that coffee after the 4 questions.
give me the other 3 questions first. We'll get to that one in a second.
All right. The second one. What are they most afraid of? Second. Third, what's their hierarchy? So who do they belong to if we need to pull rank? Maybe we should call Agent XYZ. The fact that we don't know that should scare this person. Fourth, how can we actually work with them?
Could you repeat that? Sorry, I didn't hear the last one.
How can we work? How can we collaborate with them? Last one.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of how I want to answer these. The answer to pulling rank, as it were, they are somewhat self-contained. They operate very much in your typical government fashion. They do have a head of command, and it works its way down. However, as you attempt to try and figure out who is in command, it feels like there's a wall blocking you. Not able to get a name.
Rank?
Rank is general. As for question number 4, to collaborate with them is difficult because they believe that they are the end-all be-all deal. Essentially, everybody else are children attempting to play cops and robbers, while they are the actual cops.
Yeah, that's what we are trying to convince them otherwise of, yeah.
What was question number 2?
Question number 1 was what was their biggest secret? 2 was what are they most afraid of in this city?
Oh, in this city?
You say, question number 2 is whoever finds out number 1.
That maybe the 2 different things, but yeah, it could be.
No, actually, their biggest fear right now is that there is internal strife. The organization is going 2 very different ways on a subject, and that is the answer to both questions 1 and 2.
Just hearing that, my response is, Marshal, I know you're a good man. Maybe you should call the general, as we may be able to help with some of the bifurcation that he may be dealing with. If you tell him that, he will know what that is.
And I'm supposed to bother a superior officer off of some vague wording that some priest walks in and gives me?
I'm gonna come and very gently to his ear. Marshal, this is not drugs talking. I didn't even know what general was. So, why don't you make that call? So I can call my superiors to pull off while you have the conversation. We got both what we wanted. Very gently to his ear. And I'm gonna pull the thing I gave. Drugs are not the answer. From his pocket, just put him in his hand and close his fist with it. It's
Oh, you really want... Okay, we're gonna go with this one route. Alright. It's not gonna go well. Okay. In this merit. Okay. As you go to take the object from Marshall, how many dots? I have to reconfirm because it's been a while here. 3. Oh,
He's wounded.
Nope. Sorry. When you use one character sheet called Storyteller, sometimes things get left over.
He's probably got mental wounds after listening to it.
Wow.
What?
That's a lot of ones.
What the?
Make it a dramatic failure, so
You rolled 12 dice and no successes?
I like that.
Wow. That's impressive. However, thank you, Marshall, for making your character this, because I believe there's actually hold on. Ah, yeah, here it is.
Got roads.
No, it's not. Is it
Not
go?
roads, actually.
Sorry, I'm trying, because I know it is. Is it here? Costs 1 willpower. Once. Becomes depraved at the end. Alright. Yep. So, nope, that's not, it's not the same roll. It just adds. Where is it? Once per turn. Yeah, okay. So. One success, okay. So basically, at first, he moves slowly, as if his body's not necessarily responding on its own. And then within the next moment, Bishop, you're face down on the ground with your arm twisted behind your back. Nobody even saw him move. Outside, you saw him move and close his hand around it, the vial, very, very slowly. The next moment, Bishop is just on the ground, face down, and in a military hold. You don't touch somebody's things without permission.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Hunter the Vigil, Critical Measures, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, why must those who hunt monsters hunt themselves?